Kelly File, we are getting reports tonight that Attorney General Eric Holder is going to give in to demands from civil rights activists and change the rules for certain investigations. The Justice Department will reportedly ban federal agents from using religion and national origin in their investigations. Reports suggesting the DOJ wants to specifically avoid upsetting Muslims. Joining me now, Hoda El-Shistawi. She's National Policy Analyst for the Muslim Public Affairs Council, and Joel Mowbray, who's an investigative journalist. Thank you both so much for being here. And so the question here is whether, as I said to O'Reilly a short time ago, whether he is also going to announce that no longer is racial, or I should say profiling based on religion or national origin, no longer will it be allowed in terror investigations. Hoda, what do you think about it?
Well, I mean, I think this is a really big deal if indeed the Department of Justice implements the banning of religious affiliation, national origin, and sexual orientation as well. This is a big deal because basically what it's doing is it's making law enforcement officers, it's really strengthening the tools that they have in doing and conducting really strong, hard, factual police work. Yeah.
How is it strengthening?
So what it's doing is it's highlighting the tools that law enforcement officers already have based on finding evidence and conducting.
You mean
sure,
they have 10 tools, they're taking away 2, so it's highlighting the remaining 8.
Well, and they're not effective tools, and that's the point. That's the problem, and that's been the point. And what law enforcement officials have been doing, and when they are incredibly effective, is when they are conducting searches and investigations based on actions and behaviors, not based on what a person looks like.
Well, I think, Megan, first of all, pretty clearly we're talking about national security cases because the Bush administration did ban racial profiling back in 2003, except in cases of national security investigations. Now, when you're talking about race, that's different, but talking about religion or national origin, I think every American knows that of the 19 9/11 terrorists, 15 of them came from one country, Saudi Arabia.
Well, and not only that, we looked at the stats. Since 9/11, the majority of attempted terrorist attacks in this country have come from Muslim individuals, radicalized Muslims who have tried to attack the country.
Well, no, absolutely. And if you're going to talk about religion, well, let's say the Christian identity movement. Is it irrelevant? Their religious beliefs, how they view Christianity, is not relevant to the terrorist threat profile? Of course it is. You know, if you talk about, let's say, travel, the Tsarnaev brothers, the Boston bombers. Now, we know they went to a mosque with radical ties in Boston. We also know the Russians warned us that they had been traveling in Chechnya. Now, you have to put the two of those together because travel in Chechnya or, say, Afghanistan or Pakistan does not necessarily make you a terrorist. But if you fuse that together with radical Islamic beliefs, then you have a different threat matrix profile.
What about
and
that,
it's something you have to look at.
If they say you can no longer use religion as one of the criteria for doing analysis or profiling, if you will, in national security, does that mean if our feds know that somebody's a radicalized Muslim, they cannot consider that, they can't even mention it in trying to get a search warrant, etc.?
Well, that's what we don't know. That's what we don't know based on the early reports.
That's for Hoda. I mean, is that your understanding, and are you okay with that?
Well, I think I know for a fact that Americans are protected in terms of speech because of the First Amendment. And so what do you mean by radical? Do you mean thoughts or
believe
ideas?
In jihad?
Because the idea is that law enforcement should become involved in a situation when there are actions involved. And so, yes.
So if they have reason to profile, so if somebody believes in radical jihad, let's take the Tsarnaev guy who was online with his radical stuff. That's not okay. He should not have been profiled in your view.
So profiling has existed, right? And if it's existed, then why did the Tsarnaev brothers fall through? Profiling.
No one ever said it was foolproof. Go ahead, Joel.
It's ineffective and it's counterproductive to police work.
Okay, go ahead.
Megan, clearly you have to look at the religious ideology. It's not to say that anyone who's a Muslim is a threat, and that's not the way law enforcement treats it. But the ideology does matter. And it's not just someone who, say, advocates violence. You know, a lot of the people who become radicalized started by believing America was the enemy of Muslims, that there was a war on against innocent Muslims, and so they see themselves as white knights coming out to defend those innocent Muslims from, they see, the aggression of America. So they believe that they're acting ethically and morally. But if you don't know that about someone's religious views, then you don't know the full threat that they pose. Look, when we have limited resources, Megan, when it comes to national security investigations, we have to use that in the most intelligent way possible, which means looking at all the relevant data points, which includes religious beliefs, national origin, where people come from, etc.
Well, we'll see. We'll find out. We have yet to hear the official announcement. This is all just based on a leak. I got to run. Hoda, thank you both so much.